Hello there, I'm Blackbright, broadcasting out of the UK. Welcome to my channel. For those of you who know me, I cover a lot of topics. Most of it has to do with whether people are being treated unjustly. I like to motivate in some of my videos. I like to guide and direct in other videos. But every video, I would like to think, has some information that can either make you feel better or inform you. So that is my premise. If you'd like to subscribe, if you'd like to share, if you'd like to put the thumbs up or thumbs down, you're welcome. If you'd like to interact with my subscribers, that's okay too. So what am I talking about today? I'm talking about desperate lawyers who have been going around to vulnerable overstayers and implying or inferring that they can regularize their status. How bad is that? People who are already vulnerable, and I can understand why some lawyers are doing it. That is why you must find a lawyer that's registered either with the Law Society, OSIC. Make sure they're registered. Don't listen to any lawyer unless you've checked that they're either on the Home Office, they're either from the I think you can find them on Citizens Advice Bureau. You can find them on the www.g for golf, O for Oscar, V for Victor .uk website. But don't listen to any lawyer that calls you up. I don't know how they get hold of you or how they get in touch with you. Don't listen to any lawyer that tells you as an overstayer that they can get you regularized. Number one, nothing is guaranteed. That's the first thing. Number two, you could be throwing good money after bad. Number three, if you're an overstayer, you're considered a criminal in the eyes of the law, in the eyes of the Home Office. You are illegal, unlawfully in the country. So you would need an extraordinary case to allow you to stay in the country. Now, I understand that the deadline to do with COVID has been extended from the 31st of July to the 31st of August. But that still means you would have needed to put your application in beforehand, before the deadline. You can't just turn up now and say, oh, I understand there's an extension. Can I apply for an extension? Can I apply for a visa? You can't do that. Things should have been in place already. And there are certain people who have extenuating circumstances, whether it's because they were out of the country, whatever the reason is, who can apply for an extension, be up to the 31st of August, providing their papers are in order and they're legally in the country. Don't let lawyers fool you. They are desperate at the moment. Do you realize how much money they are losing because of the way that the Home Office are now having their processes worked out? Not only have we got the online applications, which I appreciate, a lot of people can't manage, but a lot of people can, or they can find somebody to do it for them. So immigration lawyers are losing money that way. On top of that, the process to get your application approved is much more difficult than before. So they're having a hard time and they don't get paid until you're regularized. On top of that, it's taking nearly 3 times as long for them to get your leave to remain, indefinite leave to remain, whatever you are going there for. It's taking them treble the amount of time. So whereas they could have guaranteed an income at least in 3 to 6 months, now in some cases they're having to wait a year for a result. So they're desperate and they're looking for ways to make money, and they should not be abusing their powers and their knowledge and their authority to lure vulnerable overstayers to give them money. And I hear in some cases it's £2,000 that they're charging on top of the 2052 immigration fees. So I don't know if they're real lawyers. I don't know if they are people who started training up to be lawyers and they didn't finish. I don't know, because I can't imagine an authentic lawyer who has done all of his work, all of his studies, and got all his qualifications, risking losing it. But mind you, desperation is a serious thing. So you just never know. And the thing is that they could also get out of it by saying, we never told you we could guarantee. We told you we could do our best. The thing is, they know that there's no guarantees for overstayers. So they've got no business even approaching you in the first place. And once you give them that deposit, non-refundable deposit, it's gone. It's gone right into their bank account. So there are extenuating circumstances how an overstayer can stay in the country. And even then, it's difficult. The extenuating circumstances is that you're married to a UK spouse, preferably married more than living together. Although lawyers will tell you that if you're living together and you can prove you're living together, that counts. But the Home Office still has a strict view about home living relationships, and they prefer to know you're married. It's more provable. When you're saying you're living together, as far as they're concerned, that isn't a serious arrangement. But supposing you can prove you're living together, you've got your mortgage, you've got mortgage documents in this, in joint names, you've got lease in joint names, you've got bank account in joint names, you haven't got any debt that's going to discredit you, you've got no criminal records. You've got, what else is there? You can meet the income threshold. You're not going to rely on public funds. You both have a child together. The child of the UK parent was born in this country and has remained in this country, has not gone off to another country for a period of time. Whatever it is, even with all of those circumstances which give you a reasonable chance of success, they could still turn around and argue your point. Why did you remain in the country illegally and make you feel like a criminal? Now, the problem is that if you are refused, you'll be served with a notice of liability for removal notice, which will mean that you'll be on bail. And if anybody stops you on the street, whether it's because of COVID-19 or whatever, you will be instantly detained and then deported. So you're rendering yourself doubly vulnerable if you get caught up into this thing with some scam lawyers. And I'm calling them scam lawyers because I don't know if they are authentic lawyers that are doing this. I got the information from Pinoy UK International, and I really love that immigration lawyer because I can tell she loves the people over and above money. I can tell. And sometimes when people say to me, do you know any immigration lawyers? I mean, I don't get nothing for referring people to her. She doesn't even know me. But because I listen to her channel, I can feel her sincerity. I will say, well, try her. I don't know how they get on because I don't hear back, but I will refer them to her because to me, she seems genuine and she's not out to take money from you. But having said that, you will get other lawyers. I don't know if she's on the OISC. You'd have to look up. It's P for Peter, I for India, N for November, O for Oscar, Y for yellow. And that's in immigration, and it's in the UK. There's quite a few Pinoys, but if you go for the Pinoy Immigration UK, that's the one. Okay? So, like I said, the scam lawyers, whether they're real or not, they could be real and just desperate and using they're very clever with words because they know what to say so as not to incriminate themselves. And you're not going to hear those words about maybe, I will try. You're just going to know that then there's possibly some hope. And because a lawyer is telling you that, you feel as though you're more likely they'll know better than you. And you could be handing over money you don't even have. And that's a sad thing. And they don't care because they're looking for money for their bills. And like I said, if you get a lawyer, I'm not dissing lawyers. All I'm saying is make sure they're registered on the Law Society, government website, Home Office, Citizens Advice Bureau. And I think they need the OSIC registration, or acronym similar to that. So like I said, it does depend on the circumstances. If you've been in the country 20 years and you've got no family ties in the UK, even if you've got no family ties in the country you originated from, you're not going to get through. So don't even waste your money. I know there's been people who've been raising hopes, when Boris Johnson was trying to get in, he was talking about an amnesty, which was really just to get him elected, I think. But that fell by the wayside. They also had, just before COVID, a letter going around appealing for people to be regularised so that they can go and get medical help. At the moment, people were feeling vulnerable, afraid to go to the GP because they're afraid if they went to the GP, they might get stopped, detained and deported. So, overstayers are continually having their hopes raised. The problem is, if you're an overstayer, you're vulnerable and you're considered a criminal by the system, regardless of your circumstances. So it is very, very, very difficult. And I don't know what to suggest apart from, like I said, if your partner is preferably born in the UK, hopefully you're married to her, and hopefully it's not recently with all this going on, because if it's recent, they're going to regard it with suspicion. You've got a British child. You can prove that you've got no ties abroad. You can prove that the child is yours. You're willing to take a DNA test. You've got all the documents proving your relationship over the last couple of years. No point meeting somebody saying you've been going out with somebody, you've got a British citizen who you've been going out with for 6 months. That's not going to cut it. And you're going to render yourself vulnerable. And the thing is, when some of these lawyers, especially during COVID, when they're not meeting you face to face, they could be anyone, and they're telling you to deposit money into their account before they can even talk to you. So they don't even know whether or not you qualify when they're asking you for the money. And you've lost that money. Now, if they're saying to you, okay, I'm going to give you a free 10-minute consultation so you can tell me what your situation is, and you're able to tell them, and they're able to deduce from what you tell them that you may have a chance in hell, then that is a totally different thing. But if you've got some of these lawyers that say, look, I need you to put the money in my account, and then I'll arrange a 15-minute interview to let you know whether or not you qualify, don't do it back to front, because then they're trying to scam you. I mean, surely anyone can give up 5 or 10 minutes of their time to find out if their client has an option, if there are options for their clients. If they don't care about their clients and they want to get the money first, then you know that they could be disingenuous. They're not sincere. So what else have we got here? I think I've finished it, really. If you're married to a UK citizen, yes. You mustn't have no intention to access public funds. I think I said that. You meet the income threshold. You can prove that the child is yours. So unless there is something totally out of the ordinary, do not hand over any money at all to any lawyer. Make sure that the lawyer is registered, and like I said, on those places I've mentioned. And like I said, there's no one who can guarantee the regularisation of a stay for an overstayer. No one can guarantee that. So you have to know that when you're offering this information and putting it forward, you run the risk of being refused. And if you're being refused, you have to accept everything that goes with it. So appeals are expensive, and you can't just appeal because you're challenging the Home Office's decision. That's not a good enough reason. There has to be some serious extenuating circumstances or mitigating circumstances while you're appealing. Okay, I know this might sound hard and it's not really information you want to hear, but I don't come in to butter things up. I just need you to know I'm trying to protect you from being exploited, and that's why I'm doing this video. Okay? All right then. Bye-bye.